You don't need a new diet. You don't need to wait for the next program. You just need this. Genuine underlying behavior change. And freeing yourself from the shackles of internal resistance and limiting belief that hold you back from having massive success with health, with your weight, with your fitness, with nutrition, etc., etc. This is the ginormous elephant in the room that nobody, I'm speaking hyperbolically, virtually nobody in the weight loss, diet, quote-unquote space, especially online, will even talk about. And I could be conspiratorial and say, well, they don't want to give you this silver bullet. They want to sell you on some other magic pill because they want you to buy their programs. But actually, in truth, I think some of it is that, undoubtedly. In truth, I think we're just lost on the internet in strategy and diets and tactics and tax and here's the meal plan to help you get lean and carbohydrates versus fat debate and, oh, is it calories in, calories out, or is it about hormones and insulin sensitivity? We are lost in the tactics. And that's not to devalue the tactics. I speak a lot about my whole slim and sustain philosophy and why I've come to the conclusions that I have about what to do, what I think is best nutritionally for me, so on and so forth, and my exercise strategy I've been speaking more and more about lately, and people are very interested in. Tactics and strategy matter, but the reality, as far as I see it, my understanding from working with over almost now 600, that is ridiculous by the way, 600 men and women in the last 6 years on Slim and Sustain is, you can have the best game plan in the world on paper. You can have the best diet for you as far as that looks and feels on paper. The best game plan for burning fat from your workouts. But if your compliance and your consistency is through the floor because you struggle with emotional eating, because of limiting beliefs, because you're really weak, admittedly, to speak bluntly, under peer pressure, and when someone challenges you and says, well, what about the protein thing? You don't need to do this vegan thing. That's just a fad. Oh, come on, have some pizza with us. You used to be so fun. It's so boring. Why do you think you're different now? When someone gives you the first bit of peer pressure, you're like, okay, go on then, I'll have that pizza. And before you know it, you're 2,000 calories deep in the binge on pizza and Ben & Jerry's. Having a bit of deja vu there, funny story. But you catch my drift, right? If the mind isn't there, if you have a poor story of yourself, if you have an inability to play devil's advocate with any limiting beliefs that you have, you are going to be, I'm pulling numbers out of thin air because this stuff is frankly hard to quantify, but just to illustrate the point, you're going to be 10, 20, 30% more likely to grab that donut when it's offered to you, rather than stay resolute and resilient because you are all in with your health, weight loss, fitness, nutrition, etc., etc. goals. This is the stuff that frankly matters more than tactics. It's not what you eat that matters most. And I'm somebody, I know maybe I sound like a rich hypocrite because I've got 300 plus videos largely talking about on nutrition on this channel. But you get what I mean? Like tactically, on the surface level, nutrition is a huge driver of success, the biggest driver of success. But it doesn't matter because if your behavior, your habits, your mindset is in a place whereby you can't even stick to good nutrition practice, you're screwed anyway. Excuse my blunt language, but you're screwed anyway. And that is why I say, like, a lot of people, they're thinking that next diet they try, I'll join the Weight Watchers, I'll join the Slimming World, I'll hire this coach, I really like them online, so I bought their program now, I'm in this Facebook membership group, I've joined Orange Theory, maybe it's a physical thing, I've joined CrossFit. Like, everyone is looking for silver bullets. Silver bullets are fine and they do exist. There are some things out there that can really move the needle for you. Like, for me, plant-based was a silver bullet. It changed my life. It changed my life. However, it doesn't matter the potential that strategy has if your mind ain't right and you're not in a place whereby you can actually stay consistent with it. So I think that's my brief, hopefully, I'm yapping on as always, but that's my concise message today is stop looking at strategy and tactic as a silver bullet. Do not overemphasize the what I eat in a day videos and all the debate and the bluster and the infighting about, oh, how much fat should I eat? And this plant-based doctor, to speak on my community specifically, this plant-based doctor says no nuts and seeds, and this one says some nuts and seeds, and this one says, oh, actually, you should have a lot of nuts and seeds because they're great for hormones and satiation. Again, I don't want to say these aren't important questions. I've addressed them hundreds of times, so me saying they're not important would make me, again, a rich hypocrite, wouldn't it? But if you place more priority on those tactical nutrition or exercise, by extension, questions than you do just staying consistent, plugging the leaks, fixing the things that actually take you off track, being a bit tougher with yourself when you're being a little softy in the moment, like, oh, it's so hard, and oh, I miss cookies right now. Get over it. Like, you're either committed and bought into this vision or not. Somebody wrote to me the other day, like, oh, I really resonated with that line you said in a video. What was it? Oh, yeah, you don't deserve another cookie or a piece of cake. You've had those 1,000 times in your life. What you deserve, what you should feel like you deserve and feel entitled to, rather, is a slim and fit body. You're really going to go a bit soft on yourself and eat, 500 calories a cake and ruin a whole day where the rest of the day actually you've made some sound food choices just for that little bit of cake because you felt weak in a moment, or because you succumbed to the idea that, oh, maybe it's not going to work for me anyway because of menopause, age, so-and-so made a comment, or maybe you should do like the reasons that I've heard as a coach, you can imagine over the years, for why people quit their healthy eating practices would blow your mind. The most trivial nothingness. Anyway, I'm yapping on as I vowed not to do here. You catch my drift. This has to be right, guys. The best diet in the world ain't going to save you if this isn't right. Stop looking at tactic and strategy as your silver bullet. The only thing that's really going to drive change is inside of you. And you need to plug the leaks right now. Do that self-audit that nobody does. Nobody self-analyzes like this. Me included at times. I forget to do this. Nobody looks at themselves because we're all busy and distracted. No wonder, and stressed by other things and other responsibilities. So this is not a criticism of my fellow man. But nobody sits there and goes, all right, what am I doing wrong? What's not working for me? What is working for me? And nobody does this kind of ruthless I was going to say self-criticism, it's not, but it's not even ruthless, just even some introspection and self-analysis on what they're doing wrong. And they will keep banging their head against the same wall, like, oh, I keep going off track because I get too hungry. Stop being in such an aggressive calorie deficit then. The fix is so simple. Just add 300 calories. You'll still lose weight. It'll just be slower, but you're not going to have these crazy crashes and burns. Problem solved. Oh, maybe that's not the issue, but it's consistency with exercise. Okay, why can't you stay consistent with exercise? Because, to be honest, I hate the workouts. They're really boring. Okay, so what would you enjoy? What would you feel more agreeable? Let's do those because you'll be able to be more consistent with them. Like, these are really simple fixes, but nobody does it. And we know why nobody does it, because sometimes it's nice to have you get out of jail card and say, well, I tried, and save face and save your ego, rather than actually just committing and confronting the things that are stopping you from being wildly successful with the thing that you say in a motivated moment you want to be really successful with. But do you actually mean it? You don't need another diet. Stop waiting for the next program. Stop, oh, I'm going to join the Weight Watchers thing. None of this matters if this isn't the right place. And don't get me wrong, you don't get the mindset and you don't get the habits and the behavior change overnight, but through repetition, through consistency, and through honest discernment with yourself. This is what I'm doing right. This is what I'm doing wrong. This is what I could improve. You don't have to be perfect, but it's amazing when you actually try and confront the things holding you back. Not half-hearted, not 5 days on a diet, but you actually try and push through those quitting points. The change is rapid. You will look at yourself, I swear to you, you will look at yourself in as little as 8 to 10 weeks' time. 8 to 10 weeks where, by the way, you probably still haven't been perfect, you probably messed up once or twice. You will look at yourself and you will go, holy smokes, I look insane. I look insane. And you think about the subsequent behavior change that comes. That's just the physical outer shell. We know real growth and true transformation happens on the inside. I promise you, you will almost start to feel like a different person in as little as 2 to 3 months. But only when you actually stick with this process, stay honest, keep coming back even when you make mistakes, and being consistent. That repetition just builds and builds and builds. And that's how your behavior change. You get to the quitting point, you push through for once, instead of giving up, being a little softy and saying, oh, I'm the cookie craving, oh, I was so stressed that day. You only escape those bad behavior patterns by not doing them. That's what changes your underlying behavior. That through the fire is the transformation. People are always looking for the next program that will fix me. No, man. No, you need to go through the things that take you off track. That is your medicine. The fix is so simple. It's not a strategy thing. It's all mindset. Get this right, get your behavior right. Obviously, I'm speaking, again, hyperbolically here. I'm exaggerating the point wildly just to illustrate. Tactics, strategy for food and exercise, sleep, rest, recovery, hydration. All of these questions matter. You should still ask me these questions. You should still ask other folks that you trust and you see in a position of authority the answers to these questions too. But do not overemphasize them versus all the behavioral stuff. Stick with this. Speak to you in the next one.